friends, the next clip didn't make it into last week's podcast episode, but we felt it was important enough to share it with you here today as an added bonus clip to the Self-Care Cabaret podcast. This is me and Loni talking about traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda as part of a yoga practice. Enjoy. And I did want to ask you one other question just because I'm fascinated by traditional Chinese medicine. It's not something I've studied too much. I know kind of the very basics, although I did just start going to acupuncture recently, which is exciting. So I'm hoping to learn more through that process. But how does that play into the work that you do, and what can you tell us about that?
Sure. So just to clarify, I just have an intro to traditional Chinese medicine as it's related to yin yoga. My teacher is an acupuncturist, and the structure of that form of yoga is based on traditional Chinese medicine. But I seek professional help from an acupuncturist, myself. That being said, it's really fascinating. I love to structure my classes based on things that we find in nature, and traditional Chinese medicine follows it follows the seasons and things that we find in nature. And while I don't specifically come in and diagnose and look at each and every person, there are things that happen kind of across the board as we move through the seasons, particularly here in New England. So, for example, we're coming out of, we've just left a fifth season. There's 5 seasons in traditional Chinese medicine called late summer. A really dominant emotional thing that happens in late summer is anxiety, overthinking, and rumination. We tend to get sick of, it's very damp and we're sick, those last few humid days, you've had enough of it. You're kind of cranky about it. And now we're moving in, and the meridians and the systems that can get out of balance in late summer are the stomach and spleen, so your digestive system. Now we're moving into the fall. I mean, we're into the fall, but there's, you're sort of in a transition. Interesting. The dominant emotion, and this can cut across a lot of people, is sorrow, and the need for courage. In the fall, we start to see things dry out. So dampness is replaced with dryness. And when things go out of balance, this sense of sorrow and this sort of withering and drying out and pulling in can get a little out of balance. The fall is an interesting season because there's a lot going on in the fall, and new school years. And there's always been this idea, you need to get, and yet we feel that we need to meet the fall with spring-like energy, but we don't actually have that spring-like energy.
We do not.
Spring in the summer. So you're met with, all the stuff I should be doing, a hardwired desire to harvest and things going on. And yet we don't really quite have the energy. So when things go out of balance, you can just take that withering, I'm a little sorrowful, and start to dry out and withdraw. So taking all of that in and coming into a yoga class, you can theme the classes and influence parts. So, just by talking about this thing, and you get heads nodding, like people like, oh yeah, I feel that way too. And then you theme the classes and sequence the classes to influence the parts of the body and the parts of the meridians. There's 12 meridians that run throughout the body that may be out of balance. So we're headed into the fall. So it is the lung and large intestine. So today was a lot of chest opening and starting to influence where the heart and lung meridians go, and bringing that part of the body into balance. I very rarely talk specifically about the meridians and stuff because it gets a little nerdy and it can burden down the class. Particularly if I have a new student, they would think, sure, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Like first she's saying all these things in Sanskrit. Now she's talking about meridians. I'm done.
I'm out of here. Gone. No, but you get it whether you want it. I'm just focused on it. And more, it's talking a little bit about these are things we need to think about bringing in balance. And so that's how it influences my teaching.
Beautiful. I'm fascinated to do some more research on my own and some more study into it, because I'm just really interested in it. I know a lot about Ayurveda, but I've not gotten into TCM as much, and I want to explore that more.
They have similar results, different approaches,
Right.
but very similar results. And it follows the same kind of thing. If you're, if you are working in an Ayurvedic system, you're looking at how your body is made up and then how it's interacting with the season. I mean, those practitioners are very focused on what's going on in the season and making those changes.
Right. And even eating in accordance with the seasons. And
Completely.
yeah, it's really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to continue this acupuncture journey and kind of see how that goes. I figured it was good to add it to my own self-care toolbox and kind of see, so then I can tell other people about it and encourage them to explore it as a healing modality as well. So very cool.